Last time here on the MT and Me, we were talking some more, continuing to talk, I guess I should say, about the decking in the overcab area. We're talking about how it's sandwiched together on the inside and what we're going to have to do to rebuild it. I want to take just a brief moment today to talk about it some more, except this time we're going to look at it from the outside. Hi, and welcome back to the MT and Me. Okay, we're still on the overcab for Pearl, but we're on the outside now. And what I want to focus on is this right here. Now, we've established in our past couple of shows that on the inside there's a layer of plywood, and then there's some framing across that that's got insulation area in it, and then there's another layer of plywood over the top, so that you have I guess probably 1.5 inches total thickness on that floor to this overcab area, nice and strong. Well, here on the outside, it also is covered by this. This is you see my wood's just disintegrating as we talk about it here. This is aluminum siding. This is the same thing that's on the outside of the passenger area here on this RV. It's basically one big piece that goes around. Technically, there are 3 pieces. There's a small one at the back on each side, and then there's one from just about right here that wraps all the way around to this same point on the other side. It is a single piece of aluminum, and it is, well, it's bonded to that wood. I'm not sure exactly how. Of course, this wood is coming apart, so I can pull it down and pull it apart. But obviously there's some sort of adhesive that's holding it in place. I would imagine it's a construction adhesive, if I had to guess. And that is a guess because I'm not a builder. So if any of you know for sure, please pass that information along to me. Point is, this has got to come off, and we have to put it on the new piece of plywood once we get it all cut and put together and ready to fit. Okay, now this, of course, I don't know how much you can see, but it goes on under this area here, and this is a bit of just a rubber hosing that provides insulation between the base of this fiberglass cowling and the cab itself, and it also seals that up. We'll know more about how all that fits together once we take it apart, because I can see it, I know it's there, but as far as the actual construction of it, I really can't tell how it's done at this point, and won't be able to until we lift all this up, being the fiberglass itself as well as the wooden platform here. Okay, the bottom piece of plywood is physically attached to this fiberglass cowling by screws that are put in underneath this cover here. Now, I can't pull it off. You can see down here, let me show you. This is where part of this slip-in covering has come off, and you can see the screws here. Now, it's covered up, but the cover's actually off of that. The sealant is off of that, where they've screwed this through the fiberglass and into the base of the plywood decking. Okay, so that's the way this all fits together. it's going to be up to me to get it apart and then fit it back together. Yeah. So like I told you, this piece of aluminum is attached to the bottom piece of plywood, because you can see it hanging down here where this wood has rotted out, and because of the water damage, and of course it's not holding up anymore, it's falling completely apart. If we go over on the other side, you can see where they had this problem even earlier and put some screws in to try and fix this. You can see here, 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 and these two down here, where they actually went in and tried to reattach that at some point in history, because I don't know if the wood was coming apart then, or if this was simply separating from the wood. It's kind of hard to say at this point, because there's so much damage here now that you really can't tell. But here again, you can see these little screw bolts are just completely rotted out themselves, and they are doing nothing now. They'll have to come out, and here again, this entire piece will have to be separated and saved so that we can put it back on when we get a new piece of plywood in there. This gives you another chance to kind of see how this piece is, because this is breaking. I'm obviously going to have to replace all of this too. But here again, another one of the screws that it actually attaches the fiberglass cowling to the plywood floor. So it's not an extremely complicated construction, but there are some bits and bobs to it, as one might say. And like I said, this piece of aluminum goes from one side all the way across. So we'll only have the one piece basically to deal with, and these two little bitty side sections here that are up against the fiberglass cowlings on each side that spread out into the actual RV area of Pearl. But anyway, it's one more thing to consider, and I wanted to show you how all that was put together, so that maybe, like I said, I'm looking for comments, for feedback on how to best approach this this situation of replacing these wooden floors. It may entail taking the fiberglass cowling completely off, or maybe I can just kind of lift it up a little bit enough to work out underneath it and then lower it back down into place. I just don't know at this point. But hey, let me know what you think. That's what this is all about. I depend on your help and advice here on the MT and Me, so please give me some feedback on it, okay? I don't know if I've ever mentioned, but where I live, it's right on the flight path for medical helicopters going between our local hospital and the hospitals in Little Rock to the north of us. So yeah, we get choppers flying over rather frequently. It's a thing. cold. It's wet. Shows no signs of stopping the rain. So, no. Not doing anything today. Except going back inside. And so here I sit at the Supercenter in advance of the ice apocalypse, or whatever it is they're calling this wicked winter storm that is supposedly heading our way. I was here yesterday and got most of the things I think I needed in advance of a winter's weekend. But I've decided I really could use a tarp. And that's really what I'm going into the store for. Based on the look of all the cars in this parking lot and all the people going in and out, I may not make it back out. But I'm gonna try. So wish me luck. Wow. It's a good thing I don't need bread. Or eggs. But at least there's plenty of milk. Too bad I don't need any of that either. Looks like the tarps are pretty well picked over as well. But I got the one I needed. Yeah. All right. I survived the storm. At least I think I did. Now, let's get home, settle in, and hopefully not have to go anywhere else for this weekend. Okay, time for a little indoor winterizing. As I mentioned, we have a major winter storm coming our way. They are forecasting an ice storm with possible accumulations of up to a ½ inch to 1 inch. That's a lot of damaging ice from freezing rain. So we're really hoping for the best. But the other thing that goes with that are temperatures that are going to be staying in the 20s all weekend long after tonight. We're not going to get above freezing until maybe sometime Monday, possibly sometimes Tuesday. And this is Friday afternoon. So several days, 48 to 72 hours in the deep freeze. That's not fun. Well, I've got everything I need to stay warm in here, but you want to seal things up as much as possible. Now, this fabric sheet behind me is there for a purpose. It separates this area, which is the living area that I basically spend most of my time in, from the kitchen area. When I take this down, you'll be able to see that. It's just one big open room. And years and years ago, when we first moved into this home, Ree said, you know, we'd have a lot easier time heating and cooling this space if we closed it off from that space. And we didn't really want to build a wall there, so the idea was to put up an artificial wall, one of fabric. And we've had, over the years, several different types of fabric hanging there. And it works for us because, well, we both are fans of rugs and draperies and tapestries. So hanging fabric is just another decorative option when it comes to putting something in our rooms. And it really does make a difference. And now you're thinking, well, what do you want to close the kitchen off for, Russ, as far as heating and cooling? Well, frankly, I don't spend a lot of time in the kitchen. Oh, well, sure, you have to go in there to do important things like make coffee, make a sandwich, fix a pizza. Did I mention make coffee? So things like that. But still, that doesn't take a lot of time. I'm not one of these people who cooks constantly and spends his day in the kitchen. Just, that ain't me. I spend my time in this part of the room. It's where my entertainment is. It's where my computer is that I work on videos just like this on. And it's right adjacent to the bedroom, which I sleep in and really don't do much else in. And the bathroom, it's down the hallway over there. It's got its own heating and cooling to deal with. So basically, I spend more time in this room than any other part of the house. So if I can keep it cool in the summer and warm in the winter, I'm good to go. And that's one reason that tonight, with the much colder air coming in, and I want to be sure I get maximum efficiency out of my heat for the next few days in this room, that's a reason that I'm going to be taking this orange sheet, which is all it is, it's just a bed sheet. I want to take it down and replace it with this. This is much heavier. I think it's a lot prettier. You can get up close, you can see it's kind of textured, you know, so I think it'll look really nice there. And we're going to swap them out and see what kind of difference it makes. Wow, it's been a long time since that's been open like that. I've forgotten what it looked like. And please forgive my messy kitchen. But like I said, I don't spend a lot of time in there, and people don't see it. So, it's kind of cluttered. But that's okay. We're going to cover it back up. Okay, so that has my king size, actually a bedspread, put up across there. Much heavier, much better insulation, and I think it's a little prettier than that orange sheet too. Matches the decor nicely. Of course, it does still leave a gap where the door is. I have another spread. This is really too wide to go in that gap. So I need to find something else to fit in there. See if my trusty gray throw here will work. Oh yeah, I think that'll work very nicely. There, I think we have a nice insulation barrier now between this room in the kitchen. It'll definitely get a test this weekend. Now, before I go, there's one more quick update I want to share with you. If you watched our Christmas video, and I certainly hope you did, you know that one of the things I carried down to Ree in Pineville wasn't really a Christmas present because I told her I had it and was bringing it, was a Wi-Fi booster because she has difficulty getting Wi-Fi inside her camper in the park where she rents a space. And we kind of briefly looked at installing it, but couldn't figure out how exactly we were supposed to hook it up to the external antenna. Well, after a little checking and research on her own, she did this by herself, she said, you know, I'm just going to hook this up and try it using the built-in antenna, hanging it there next to the door, and see what it does. So that's what she did. She installed it, as you can see, very professionally, fired it up, logged into it, and set up her own Wi-Fi, and she has all kinds of signal. No problems whatsoever. Her phone works great. Her laptop works great. They both access the Wi-Fi with no problems, no dropouts. Mission successful. Proud of you, Ree, for getting it hooked up, and glad to provide you with the tools that you needed. So, anyway, I wanted to share that little update with you before we cut out of here. I can hear the wind picking up outside. The temperature, according to my phone app, is now 35, feels like 29. It may or may not be sprinkling rain. Later on tonight, sometime after midnight, 2 or 3 in the morning, possibly as late as 5 or 6 in the morning, it is supposed to start freezing rain and sleet. And by then, our temperatures will be down in the mid-20s. And they're pretty well going to stay there all day Saturday, drop into the teens Saturday night, 20s again Sunday. Rain should end Sunday with partial clearing, but that means temperatures will plummet, and Sunday night's lows could dip into single digits, which is really cold here in South Arkansas. So, I'm about as battened in as I can. I hope the lights stay on. If they don't, I have some alternate heat sources so I won't freeze to death. I've got my new insulation up, as you just saw. I think we're in about as good a shape as we can be to face the wrath of wintertime and the ice apocalypse here in the Arklamis area. So, tune in next week. I'll let you know what happens, assuming I'm not frozen. Till then, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. I love you, Gnomies. I hope you are warm and cozy and dry wherever you are as well. Till next time around, I'm Russ, and we will shiver together later.